You're stuck dealing with a micromanager, a credit stealer, and an office gossip. Every interaction drains you. You've tried being nice. You've tried being direct. Nothing works. Here's why. You're fighting them on their terms. Today, you're learning how to disarm toxic people by doing the opposite of what they expect. 9 behaviors. Silent power. Real results. Behaviors 1 to 3. The foundation behaviors. Behavior 1. Strategic silence. Your micromanager interrupts your presentation to nitpick details in front of the leadership team. Everyone's looking. Your instinct is to defend immediately, explain why they're wrong, justify your approach. Don't. Here's your move. Complete pause. Eye contact. Wait 3 seconds. Let them fill the silence. Watch what happens. They start backtracking. Well, I just meant that maybe we should consider. They're justifying their interruption because silence forces accountability. They interrupted your presentation. Now, they have to explain why that was worth everyone's time. Strategic silence isn't passive, it's active power. You're making them work to justify their behavior while you maintain complete composure. Behavior 2. The discipline of assent. This is Marcus Aurelius's core principle. You control your internal response to their provocations, not their actions, not their words, your response. Your credit-stealing colleague just got promoted. The promotion you deserved. They're celebrating loudly near your desk, making sure you see their success. Amateur move. Getting bitter. Complaining to other colleagues. Letting it show on your face. Here's the Stoic approach. You acknowledge the facts without emotional attachment. They got promoted. That's what happened. Your feelings about fairness don't change reality. This is executive presence in action. When you control your internal response, they lose their primary weapon. They can't manipulate what they can't trigger. They promoted someone else to get a reaction from you. You gave them nothing. Behavior 3. Controlled redirection. The office gossip corners you by the coffee machine. Did you hear what happened with Sarah and the Johnson account? They're trying to drag you into drama, make you complicit in their toxicity. Most people either engage with the gossip or shut them down harshly. Both responses feed the dynamic. Instead, try this. I focus on what I can control, then redirect immediately to work. Speaking of accounts, how's your quarterly review coming along? You just did 3 things. You stated your principle without being preachy. You refused to engage with their toxicity. You redirected to something productive. They learn quickly that you're not a useful target for their drama. Toxic people need participants. When you consistently refuse to participate, they move on to easier targets. Notice the pattern here. These first 3 behaviors establish your foundation. Strategic silence shows you won't be rattled. Discipline of assent shows you won't be manipulated emotionally. Controlled redirection shows you won't be drawn into their chaos. Same principle when dealing with any toxic behavior. You're not fighting them directly. You're removing their fuel source. Drama needs participants. Manipulation needs emotional reactions. Chaos needs people who'll engage with it. Marcus Aurelius faced senators who tried to undermine him daily. He didn't argue with them in the forum. He didn't defend himself against every criticism. He controlled what he could control and let their behavior expose itself. That's executive presence. Volume isn't power. Control is. Here's what toxic people fear most. Someone who can't be drawn into their game. Someone who stays calm when they're trying to create chaos. Someone who responds to their provocations with strategic discipline instead of emotional reactions. These foundation behaviors work because they're based on an unshakable principle. External events don't control your internal state. Their behavior is external. Your response is internal. You get to choose. When you master these 3 behaviors, something shifts in your workplace dynamics. Toxic people start avoiding you, not because you're aggressive or confrontational, but because you're not useful to their agenda. They need reactions. They need drama. They need people who'll get pulled into their emotional chaos. When you consistently refuse to provide those things, you become irrelevant to their toxic patterns. That's not weakness, that's power. Behaviors 4 to 6. The power moves. Behavior 4. Emotional detachment. Here's what Epictetus taught his students. Treat their toxicity like weather. External conditions you can't control, but you can choose how to dress for them. Your passive-aggressive gatekeeper delays every request you make. Other people's approvals come through in hours. Yours take days. They're using their position to frustrate you, hoping you'll lose your temper or complain to their boss. Amateur response: getting visibly frustrated, sending follow-up emails with increasing urgency, letting your annoyance show in your voice when you call. Here's your move. Same tone every interaction. Same professional process. Same level of patience. No frustration shown. You're treating their behavior like a thunderstorm. You don't get angry at rain. You don't take lightning personally. You adjust your approach and keep moving toward your objective. This removes their primary weapon. They're being difficult to get an emotional reaction. When you consistently respond with the same professional detachment, they lose interest. Drama requires participation. You're not participating. Behavior 5. The long view. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while dealing with backstabbing senators and corrupt officials. He knew something about strategic patience. Your boss takes credit for your project in front of the executive team. 6 months of your work, presented as their brilliant strategy. Everyone's nodding, congratulating them on their vision. Your instinct is immediate confrontation. Speak up right there. Send a clarifying email afterward. Make sure everyone knows the truth. That's the amateur move. Here's the Stoic approach. Document quietly. Continue excellence. Wait. You're playing a longer game than they are. Credit thieves have a pattern. They take credit when things go well, but they also take responsibility when things go wrong. Their pattern will expose itself if you give it time. Meanwhile, you keep delivering exceptional work. Keep building relationships based on substance, not politics. Keep focusing on what you can control. Strategic patience isn't passive waiting. It's active discipline. You're choosing not to react immediately because you understand that their behavior will eventually reveal itself to the people who matter. The executives aren't stupid. They'll notice patterns over time. Who consistently delivers? Who takes credit but can't explain the details? Who panics when questioned about their supposed brilliant strategies? Behavior 6. Boundary setting through action. This is where most people get it wrong. They think boundaries require big conversations or confrontational moments. Stoics know better. Your colleague interrupts you constantly in meetings. Every time you start speaking, they jump in with their thoughts. It's becoming a pattern that undermines your presence in the room. Most people either escalate with a harsh response or suffer in silence. Neither works. Here's your boundary-setting move. Stop mid-sentence when they interrupt. Complete pause. Eye contact. Wait until they finish their thought completely. Then resume exactly where you left off. No drama. No confrontation. No explanation needed. You just trained them. Interrupting you has a social cost. The room goes quiet when you pause. Everyone notices the interruption. They feel the awkwardness of cutting you off. Do this consistently and watch what happens. They start catching themselves. They begin to wait for natural breaks in your speaking. They learn that interrupting you creates uncomfortable social dynamics. This is boundary setting through demonstration, not declaration. You're not announcing your boundaries. You're enforcing them through your actions. Toxic people test boundaries constantly. They push until they find where you'll bend. When you consistently demonstrate that certain behaviors have consequences, they adjust their approach. That's not conflict. That's training. These power moves work because they're based on a fundamental truth about human behavior. People adjust their actions based on the responses they get. When you control your responses strategically, you influence their behavior without direct confrontation. You're not fighting toxic people. You're making yourself an unprofitable target for their toxic patterns. That's executive presence in action. Behavior 7 to 9. The advanced tactics of Behavior 7. Strategic withdrawal. Your toxic team member is having another meltdown. The project timeline is impossible. The client requirements don't make sense. Everything is falling apart, and somehow it's everyone else's fault. They're looking for someone to absorb their chaos, someone to validate their crisis, someone to join them in their emotional spiral. Amateur move? Trying to fix them, offering solutions they'll reject, getting pulled into their drama because you think you're helping. Here's the Stoic response. Polite disengagement. I need to focus on my deliverables. Let me know when you have specific questions about my part. You just did something powerful. You acknowledged their situation without taking responsibility for their emotional state. You offered specific help while refusing general chaos absorption. This is strategic withdrawal. You're not abandoning the work. You're refusing to be their emotional dumping ground. Epictetus was clear about this. You can't control other people's emotional states. Trying to manage someone else's feelings while neglecting your own responsibilities is a losing strategy. When you consistently withdraw from their chaos while maintaining your professional obligations, you send a clear message. You're not available for drama, but you are reliable for work. Behavior 8. Principled consistency. This is where most people fail with difficult personalities. They adjust their behavior based on the toxic person's mood. Good day? They're friendly and accommodating. Bad day? They walk on eggshells. That's training them to manipulate you with mood swings. Your difficult client alternates between praising your work and tearing it apart. Last week you were brilliant. This week, you're incompetent. Next week, you'll probably be brilliant again. Amateur response? Matching their energy. Celebrating when they praise you. Getting defensive when they attack. Riding their emotional roller coaster. Here's your Stoic approach. Professional consistency in every interaction. Same tone, same standards, same level of service regardless of their mood. When they praise your work excessively, you respond with professional acknowledgement. When they attack your work unfairly, you respond with the same professional tone. You don't get high on their praise or low on their criticism. This breaks their pattern. They're using intermittent reinforcement to keep you emotionally invested in their approval. When you respond consistently, regardless of their feedback, you remove their psychological leverage. Marcus Aurelius dealt with senators who praised him publicly and plotted against him privately. He treated both behaviors with the same measured response. Their inconsistency revealed their character. His consistency revealed his. Behavior 9. The mirror effect. Your aggressive colleague uses intimidation in one-on-one meetings. Raised voice, leaning forward, aggressive gestures. They're trying to dominate through physical presence and emotional intensity. Most people either match their aggression or shrink back. Both responses give them what they want. Either escalation they can blame you for, or submission that confirms their dominance. Here's the advanced Stoic move. Maintain calm composure. Speak slower and quieter than normal. Keep your posture relaxed, but attentive. Watch what happens. Their aggression starts looking unhinged by contrast. The louder they get, the calmer you appear. The more agitated they become, the more controlled you look. You're not fighting their energy. You're creating a mirror that shows everyone in the room exactly what they're doing. Their behavior becomes obvious when contrasted with your composure. This is the mirror effect. Your calm consistency makes their toxic patterns visible to everyone around them. You don't have to point out their behavior. Your contrast does it for you. These advanced tactics work because they're based on a deeper understanding of toxic dynamics. Toxic people rely on getting reactions. When you consistently refuse to react in predictable ways, their patterns become obvious to everyone else. You're not changing them, you're revealing them. That's executive presence at the highest level. Apply what you have learned. These 9 behaviors work because toxic people feed on reactions, strategic silence, emotional detachment, principled consistency. When you master these, you're not just protecting yourself, you're demonstrating executive presence. Marcus Aurelius said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you find strength. Quick question. Which behavior will you try first? Drop a comment. I read everyone, and I'll show you exactly which works best for your situation. If you're serious about advancing with ancient wisdom that actually works, subscribe to Stoic Exec. Remember, executive by day, Stoic always.